Okay. All right. Okay. Um. Yeah.
Long
How
day of
about
work.
it worked? We're started.
What's that?
It's going. We're going.
Yeah, did you work a long day today, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really a whole lot of work. It was just sit there and run a script for 30 minutes, and then wait to see if it worked. Oh no, it didn't work. Let me change one character or something like that, and then boop, run it
Uh-huh.
again. Wait 30 minutes, and I was just wanted to see how far I could get it along before I left, and so I could sit there and read while I was doing that. So
Nice.
yeah, uh,
Word. Very cool.
yeah,
What'd you think?
it was fun to read this. So obviously, there's like three sections of this, right? There's the Ku Klux Klan, there's real estate and economic stuff, and then there's he brings it over to not just the Ku Klux Klan,
Weakest
but
link.
he gets to he gets he talked yeah he talked about the weakest link, and dating profiles and stuff, and there was some statistics stuff that he was saying in the dating profile stuff that I mean I
Keep in mind it's 10 to 15, it's probably 15 years old now, and he's probably talking about plenty of fish. Like when he said that, because it was interesting, he said men and women. It was like it was like you're in your 30s probably if you were doing it back then. I gotta
oh
imagine.
yeah like before Tinder. um
Yeah. This is not. I just here's my picture and
yeah but
make a
even
judgment.
But even then, I guess we can get to it later. But there was some stuff that he said that I was just like, I don't. The way that it's kind of ambiguous what you're saying, and depending on what the implement, like the less ambiguous version of what is happening, it could be that what you're saying is not actually telling us anything. Like for example,
Right.
yeah. So like for example, one of the ones was like, oh, like you know, all white people, something like 97% of their attempted emails or like outreaches were also white people. Uh, which sure, yeah, you could say that, but then also like one thing I've noticed is that just like at least when I was on Tinder, that for whatever reason they just showed me more white people. So yeah, if they showed them 100, like if they showed you 100 people and only three of them were black and everybody else was white, and you sent out messages to all of them, then yeah, 97% of your I guess likes or whatever were white people. But what they should have done is they should have looked at the rate. Well, what he should have said is he should have said, "Oh, we compared the rate of how many white people they like versus the rate of how many black people they like." And so then ideally, then like so say like you like of the white people you saw, maybe you decided to like 40% of them or something, and then if you showed that, then also of the black people you looked at, oh, we saw that only 20% you like them. So that would show something like, you know, I guess a bias in your.
Yeah, and so on your point, right? To piggyback on it, I had many problems with a couple of the studies. I think he was just citing them, but one of the big problems I had, is with the adding in of on the weakest link. Um, the person's you're not only you're on TV, but everyone knows who you voted for,
Right.
right? So it's all about perception and not what's inside, right? Like, so you care more about the perception of not being racist, which I guess was kind of the point he was trying to make.
Yeah.
But I think to the broader point, the only way you'd truly be able to garner information from studies like these is with a meta analyses, because there's going to be problems with a lot. I would say most of these where, like you said, the picture or emails, right? Just happens to be who's in business or,
Well,
you know,
what I'm saying. So the difference between I think the TV show one and the dating online dating statistics, uh, is that like I mean I guess they can look at I guess they could do a bunch of data, but I guess the weakest link is a little bit more of a like a case study, in terms of its breadth, and then the dating profile one. Just some of the claims he could have made good claims with the data that he had, but it just seemed kind of like There was this other one that he just was super vague. That I was like, he was just like, oh well, like what it was something like 20% of people on this dating website said that they made over $20,000 a year, which is clearly disproportionate to the only 1% of people using the internet have a salary that goes over $20,000 a year. But the problem was the population that he's talking about. The population of the dating websites he was talking about was from 2 cities in America, and he compared the wealth rate there to the wealth rate of the fucking internet, which is huge. Like that's the entire world. You could say that. Oh,
he said the whole world.
He said the 1% on the internet, which that's the problem. Is you could say that you could try to infer
I
that.
think we can infer that in that study, right, that by the internet 10 to 15 years ago, we're talking about generally people who are in affluent places around the world or America, right? So like London, right? Fucking, I don't know. What other places around the world matter?
Well, yeah,
right, but we can probably figure that out.
You kind of get what I'm saying. Is he's making a claim?
I do see it.
So he's trying to make a claim from like, here's a small sample, and then showing that they have this clear bias. But the way that he's doing that is he's using a different sample. He should be using the same sample. Like he should say.
I wonder if they did that in that study.
They might have. But the problem is that he didn't distinguish that. He could have said it might be the case that the actual study says, oh well, only 1% of people on the internet in Philadelphia and Boston are actually making over $20,000 a year, and that's what the study said.
Also, do they just list their earnings? Like, I know that's not. I mean, is that one of the 20 fucking match rates, or is that on? Because I'm thinking Tinder, obviously, but on those old profiles,
I think they did have that.
had.
I vaguely remember when I was on I think it was Bumble. I actually had to say. Or there was one that I tried out for a bit. I said how much I made.
I wonder if there's a citation guide for inside of Freakonomics. Oh, it was in the book. Let's see. Because I did actually read, unironically, I read through the study on the game show. Fuck, Lucas Link.
Yeah, I guess what I want to be saying is that it's not that he was exactly wrong. It's just that he was vague enough that he could have been saying wrong things.
I think.
But
keep in mind one thing I would also kind of caveat with that portion of it is if you think back 15 years. When was it published? So I can actually get Freakonomics publish date. 2005. So the pool of people online internet dating, I don't even remember what I was going to say, just hearing that number. So 17 years ago, the people online internet dating is a very specific subset of the world.
Yeah.
And it's also not considered even important. It's like those weirdos on the internet who online date. So I can imagine mentioning it kind of as like this non-relevant stat. It's not really important even. It's just kind of an abstract. And it's probably more easy to cite because it's a specific type of, I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just saying that he should. I think it would have been good for. I don't know
I can agree to that.
Clarity's sake, that if he just was more specific about what the study said, and that's it. So he could still be right with what he's saying. He just didn't tell us all of what was being said. Other than that, so I did like the thing about information, and the I agree with his point is that information does lend a whole lot of power in terms of, I guess, control, doing things. Like this is one problem I had with when I worked at Fannie Mae was that the fucking business analyst wouldn't tell us what we were supposed to be doing for certain tickets, and she would just be like, she would give us incomplete or incorrect information, but so basically her boss gave her a big old fucking document that said here's other requirements for the software, and instead of giving us that document in turn and saying here's the relevant pieces you should look at, this is what they sent us, she would either she would either incompletely or occasionally incorrectly give us the information out of that, and we'd be like tossing and turning with that for a couple weeks, and then she'd come back and be like, oh no, sorry, that's it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like this. Why would you do it that way? It's clearly wrong. And you're like, there's the only source of information I have is like she would basically try to blame you for not knowing what was in the like the documents that her boss sent her that she didn't give to us, and like the only thing I think of is that she's not very smart, and the only way that she knew that we were smart, and that it would look she would just be like, that if we actually did well, we would move way faster than she did, so she wanted to try to like hold that down. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I can imagine that being a pain in the ass, but I wonder how much of like for the job it requires like a need to know basis, or she was just being a cunt.
I mean, at the very least, she had a track record for giving us the wrong information, like the exact wrong information on what's that for? Not just incomplete, which she also did incomplete information, but the wrong information, and then try to blame us for not knowing it was the wrong information. I mean, also like the need to know basis, like we were like they're like this is how this software works, and then we're writing the software that processes all this stuff. So like we need to know how it's supposed to work. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I've got what makes you click in an empirical analysis of online dating. Just curious. We were looking for.
Did you find? I guess did he reference it somehow?
So at the end of the book, pages 160, 170.
170. And so are those page numbers? Yeah, David Duke.
PDF, yeah, numbers.
So it says 84 voters lying about Dickens, 84 lying about David Duke. David Duke. Not as much rape as is commonly thought. Well, that's good. I'm glad there's less rape.
Hey, fucking good for women.
Mm-hmm.
And the necessary condition. We then discuss the conditions under which users observed behaviors reveals their mate preferences. We estimate the preferences related and relate them to own and partner attributes. Finally, we predict the equilibrium structure of matches based on the preferences estimated in a simple matching protocol and compare the results sorting along attributes such as income and education and other stuff. I don't know what that means. Oh, I want to know who was using online dating. That's one of them. 11,000 of the 23,000 people who are using this dating site were in Boston.
80. You said 85?
Wait. Was that just the study or? Oh, that's the set. Okay. And this was a 3.5 month run of 2003. So like Windows 99.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bro.
MySpace pages?
Okay, so upon joining the dating service, the users answer questions from a survey. You were right. Provides information.
That's kind of funny. Do you think they actually had a button on there, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself of attractiveness? And then like
Apparently.
And then you could like because on the reverse side you can like you can filter your search results by like how attractive the person thinks they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a goofy metric to put on like a self-evaluated metric. I bet you somebody's made an AI to calculate how attractive people are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be ones and zeros for how many people get matches, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
I mean, it's literally humans voting on who's attractive, and all they're looking at are the
Yeah,
looks.
I bet fucking Tinder can do that. I bet fucking
Yeah.
because Tinder can see how many people have viewed the profile and how many people swiped right, and then they can say, oh well, this person's a yes so many times, you know. Like they, I
Oh,
guess you
she
could.
got
So
fucking
what you do is you
yes
get a
so
ratio.
many times.
You get a score from 0 to 1, which is 1 is 100% of the time you get right swiped, and 0 is you never get right swiped. And you lie somewhere on there, and then what they can do is then they can basically then they can say, oh well, here's the image and here's the map to the number, and then they can train something up to to figure out like
Okay, hold on.
what
I
number you
gotta.
are.
This is a little disturbing. So I just thought about this, and
Mm-hmm.
then um, this really like overpaints something for me. So it says here the the ethic of the ethnics, um, was made up of roughly the same demographics of the city, both Boston and San Diego. Now, I don't know how much you know about those cities, but I'm pretty sure they may be the whitest and most affluent cities in the country.
I don't know.
No, yeah. So San Diego is basically the rich people's LA. Like that's where like UCLA is. Like my uncle lives there. He's a fucking rocket scientist, unironically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like yeah. So let's do racial makeup. In Boston is all white Irish people of Boston. I'm not joking. White alone. Uh, I don't want 54 rows of data, you fucking assholes. How many are this percent? 50% white. Uh,
In
and what's the
2003.
average? Average, or just US? I mean, US ethnic makeup. I don't even know if that's a lot or not.
Yeah,
Okay, well, our popu
white themselves in 2003. If this, I'm trying to see. No, this is trying to tell me 2021. But it said 50%
interesting.
are white.
Yeah, apparently white alone is 75% of our population. So maybe I was wrong.
That's interesting.
Okay, so as far as big cities, I think I'm caveating a lot now.
What is the difference between this white alone percent and white alone not Hispanic or Latino percent?
Because in California they consider Mexicans white. I don't know.
Population characteristics veterans. Why are they telling me 13,000? It's a weird number. Foreign born persons 28%. Housing units X. Owner occupied housing unit rate 34. Median value of owner occupied housing units 610,000.
God, this is
Average
so hard to find
average
information on.
owner costs with a mortgage is 2,500. Median gross rent 1,700. Building permits X. What are these exclamation points that they don't want us to? What is that?
Why would they give me absolutes?
What does that mean?
Like give me a per capita. Oh, in New York, there's this many white people. Well, thank you for fucking really informing me. Now I've got to go divide 10 other numbers.
Charts. Give me charts, man. I like charts.
Bars, bar graphs. Let's go. All right, I give up on this. Let's
This is just population estimates. That's not helpful. Dashboard, dude. Oh, cool dashboard. Ooh yeah. I love it. I love a good dashboard. Boston.
on my dashboard.
Okay, white alone. So this is not okay. So I can I can compare this to this. I guess Abington. Where's Abington?
There's all the charts you'll ever want.
Suffolk County, I guess, is what I'm looking at.
Boca
Norwood.
Raton. Why is it? Oh, um,
Salem. Oh boy, we got Salem in here.
fucking Salem, kid.
The Massachusetts. The Massachusetts. Yes, very good. All right. Um.
Oh, on this list of all, I don't know why the list is broken up, but this, oh, it's still fucking. All right, I give up, dude. These absolute fucking numbers. I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking kill this web editor. Oh man, the big city in my state has the most white people. Who fucking guessed?
Ooh, here's some fun math. I found some math in this study. A of M for M for VM is all
Like A and
W
M.
in W. We want the value of Q of M of MW greater than or equal to VM in M. Ah. Oh, AM is the set of women that man would agree to match with. Opportunity sets. Ah.
So fucking dumb. Damn, white people on the decline. Look at this. This is a fucking bar graph for you.
Did you send it to him, I guess?
Yeah, I'll make it bigger.
It's a good bar graph.
It's a bad good bar graph.
What? Oh yeah, that's a fun statistic. I don't know if it's fun, but the number of lynchings in the last decade of the 19th century was 1,111, and then the first decade of the 20th century was something like 500 or something.
And then it was 100 in 1920.
Yeah, it got much lower. Here we go.
So this was my first like book I think like as an adult I read on my own. I was like, I'm gonna read like an economics thing because I want to read. And this was like my foray into fucking economics. Um, and I'm sure you know what subset of economics this is, right?
No.
Just behavioral.
Okay.
So it's like that's why I picked it. It's more the like he said, the study on dating was done by an economics professor and a psychologist.
Yeah.
And that's typically what economics is, or behavioral economics is more the okay, so we understand that I have to pay for something and it costs something. Now, what happens when somebody's watching me? How do I behave when what are like perverse incentives, right? I think the first chapter in the book is like about teachers, right? And they will tend to grade people higher on like state tests or whatever because it's how they get paid.
Right. I see a mention of. It is worth remembering that Adam Smith, the founder of classical economics, was first and foremost a philosopher. He strove to be a moralist and, in doing so, became an economist. An economist. Are you an economist,
True.
Sasha?
Yes. I mean, that's just economics with poor
Economist?
pronunciation.
I know.
uh, all right, so the first line here, yeah, in my notes, lynchings weren't very common. You know, just a couple hundred in the 20s.
Huh?
David Duke.
Yeah,
Was
like the
thinking
like.
about that.
Besides just the OGs of the late 19th century, like it seems just like it was just a bunch of sad, lonely boys who wanted to have something to do together. And that's all it was. Oh, I did look up what the fuck is the cross burning thing? because like you're
Yeah, the
supposed
300-foot cross. How do you?
yeah, so like you're supposed to like I would imagine you're Christian, you'd think that burning a cross would be sacrilegious.
Well, I would say killing black people first, and then
Well, yeah,
burning
but
wood.
I was trying to figure out. It just dawned on me today that like, are you trying to say that I'm burning Christianity? It just didn't quite make sense. It still, to be honest, it doesn't make any sense to me still. But I like it comes from a Scottish thing where they would like when they wanted to go to a battle, they would light a cross on fire. I don't know. To be honest, I still don't really get what the motivate. And I basically, and all these people were like Scottish people, so. Which is weird to me that they were all Scottish Irish, but then they all hated Catholics too, which was confusing.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, the whole racist thing has so many fucking.
Yeah. I thought Irish people were Catholic, but whatever. So yeah, that's where they got the burn the cross thing from. Was some Scottish
Well, yeah, but
guy.
it's like saying Mexicans are Catholic. It's like, well. And yeah, well, I thought the Ku Klux Klan is pro. They're like super. Well, I think that might be a modern white nationalist is super Catholic. I don't know.
No, I think they were more. Well, at least back in the second rise of the KKK, they were anti-Catholic.
Dude, the Birth of Nations.
Dude,
Have you ever seen like takes like just
no,
clips
but
of
it
that?
looks so fucking racist and probably entertaining, but also really boring at the same time.
Yeah. It's well, here we go. The whole film.
Oh, it's on YouTube. I
Not
found
that
it.
we'll watch it. Yeah, I know it's the first thing. I was like, what the? They're really fucking indoctrinating me here. If you go to like,
Hit that full screen there.
yeah, let me. Yeah, it says a black man supposedly. Where's the full screen button?
I found a goofy thing about it. Apparently, it was the first like long length movie. Something that was longer than like 30 minutes.
No surprise there.
Yeah, some guy on the internet was like, "Oh, we wouldn't have had modern movies today if it wasn't for this movie." I'm like, I think somebody would have figured out how to make a long movie.
It's right here. Yeah, like they lynch him and then they like oh, they're all heroes. Yes, thank you, saving us from the black man. Like it's basically a black man like does some awful shit to a white woman, and then like they drag him like across town and shit. And yeah, here it is. Of course, the white guy's in his. He's coming after the white woman. I'll save you, ma'am, madame. That's the black man, or the white man pretending to run like a black man.
I don't think they actually had any black people in this.
They're also much quicker. Playing into he's got his bug eyes out. That's so weird. I like the scared white guy. It's actually kind of like, are white guys this fragile?
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
Ah!
Or she's gonna jump. Yep.
What did he say back to her? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's all since it's silent. I don't know.
Yeah, all the dialogue is
Oof. Nice. Oh, what's the white guy gonna do? Push him off. Oh, he's gonna fuck her corpse? What the fuck?
Yeah, she's not dead. Yeah, I'm not super surprised about that. Unless if she laid on her feet, I mean her legs would be broken or whatever. But I think you can survive that drop pretty well.
Jesus. I was just wondering about the 300-foot cross. Like, that's fucking impressive.
That is very big. That is huge. Like that's like a roller coaster. Like I'm thinking of the roller coasters I've seen. That's enormous. I feel like they had to have had pictures of that.
Yeah, someone had to have a fucking iPhone around, right?
Well, they had pictures back in the 19th century, so they definitely would have had one then. Alright, I want to play Valheim, so I'm going to stop recording here and go over to
Are we done? I didn't even go into my notes.
Go into your notes then. Yeah, what's in your notes?
So the information for sale, obviously we know. Implicit and explicit. You know, like your explicit was like my job, right? Like I literally sold a database,
Yeah.
which the moment it gets out is worthless, right?
Yeah.
We have an asset that, you know. Life insurance, that was interesting. My buddy got a fucking license or was getting a license for insurance like a year or two ago. And I was like, bro, I don't want to break your heart or like ruin your dreams or anything. I mean, but that industry is going to be gone, you know. And it's a job where you don't make a lot of money at first. It's all based on recurring revenue, so you don't make like 100K until like year 5 if you're really good. So like, I mean, by the time like if you do all that work and then you don't get any of the money at the end because it becomes like agentless.
Yeah.
I I'd feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for your mother. Brand new versus new car, versus used car. I mean, um, interesting, right? That we'll pay less for a used car just based on like not the prisoner's dilemma, but like we don't trust that the seller.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Yeah. Why do you want to get rid of this?
Somebody sold me a car with like noted and dotted like oil change receipts and stuff, and I didn't feel any better than any other time because I was like, yeah, but it's what you did between those.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad you got an oil change, thank you,
Yeah.
but I don't know how you drive, you fuck.
Yep.
What's all the weapons in the trunk? No. He made a slight or small reference to Enron. Are you familiar with what they did?
I mean, I vaguely were they the ones that were like the blood? They were like supposed to be have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were supposed to like.
No, no, no. That was the KKK, I think.
No. I mean that they had like some blood testing kit that was gonna revolutionize, like just make.
No, that was close. That was Theranos and the Edison. But anyway, so long story short, they created futures trading. So you're betting on what is something going to be, not what is it worth now.
Yeah.
And what they did is that it was the energy market. Now I lived in California at the time. I was 12 or 5. But all I remember from that time period is like two things. It's like earthquakes and fucking rolling blackouts. I mean, our power would go out like for the state. We'd have rolling blackouts like multiple times a month. And I didn't know till later in my life that those weren't like oh, we had a crazy event. So like the Enron salespeople would sell and buy energy, right? Like if you get a solar panel house here in Texas, for energy you don't use, you actually sell it back to the energy company because they'll buy it from you, right? Because it's super cheap, right? So anyways, So there's like this energy market, and in Enron, the salespeople would call like energy plants in, whatever California, and then like bribe, or there's recorded calls of this. I've heard them where they'll go like, "Hey guys, can you guys make up a reason like, hey, go down for maintenance or whatever for like a couple of hours," and then they would drive the price up for a short period of time, knowing that they would sell futures and then dump them. I mean, so they were just fucking the state.
Right.
um, yeah.
Yep.
Um, then he said information, because there is a paradox to it. Having more information is sometimes detrimental, because if we look at what happened with COVID and Dr. Fauci, we got a whole bunch of fucking. Now, we can't do a historic counterfactual and go, well, if we held back all the information, then we would be able to trust them. But the fact, for that time period where we were like, mask, no mask, mask, no mask, and we were kind of not very on the ball. Um, Kind of the challenge there. Obviously, in certain instances, there's certain information that's always helpful, but we won't always make rational agent decisions or decisions as a rational agent.
Mm-hmm.
With more information,
So,
just power and
well, I mean, I didn't. To be honest, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to what the release of COVID information was. Um,
yeah, because you probably didn't. It wasn't. It's not a big deal.
yeah, I was just like, am I going to the office or not?
I
Will
just like
people?
watching the number go up of people
Yeah.
dying.
So, but like, what was this information thing you're talking about? How they gave us too much information, or like the CDC gave us too much information, Fauci gave us too much
Yeah, the first
information.
thing every anti-masker or anti-vaxxer will say is, well, they just, they don't even know what's going on. First, they told us you need a mask. Then they told us they don't. So obviously, Fauci doesn't know anything. Therefore, the whole structure of healthcare is fucked up. So we shouldn't trust them.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's a poor use of logic. It's just awful. Um, let's see here. Going to
Okay.
the
So you're saying
doctor with.
they just said so many things, like it might have been politically useful for them to just tell us wear a mask, and then just did not change information a whole lot of times until it actually really mattered a whole lot. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, or let your local representative do it,
Yeah.
right? That way it's more diffused and less central. But
Yeah. Okay.
then again, we kind of, yeah, we dropped the ball in many areas.
Sure.
Multiple listing service is the service all real estate agents have. Like right now, you as a consumer can get on Zillow, and you're gonna get what Zillow thinks the asking price is, but all listing agents have access to multiple listing, which requires a real estate agent's license. But you get what actual prices are listing for. And I thought it was interesting that agents get more money from their places, even though they're selling, um, for their own profit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's interesting. Well maintained, like the different phrasing.
Yeah, the phrasing was interesting. I totally failed at that. Yeah.
I didn't, yeah.
Like
Um,
once he explained
the
it, it
well
didn't make a whole lot of
maintained was
sense.
it didn't or it did?
Oh, once he explained it, it made a lot of sense. Yeah, where you're not actually
Yeah.
talking about actual features like or objective features of the property. You're just talking like you're just kind of recasting facts to make them sound nice in a way
True.
that's
Yeah.
not really lying, but also not totally.
This house is very structural.
Yeah,
But yes, thank you.
yeah. It's
Uh,
uh, it's an antique, a venerable antique. You know.
um, the weakest links. I thought it is interesting they eliminate dumb players early rounds when really you should be eliminating smart people, right? Um, because wait, I forgot. So there's so many things going on with the weakest link, right? you know who's voting for who, so you have this like, I don't want to be shamed, and I don't want that person to vote for me in the future.
Is it just the
And there's
audience?
your,
Is it just the audience that knows who is voting for
you've never
who?
seen it?
No.
What the fuck? Okay, so it's just
I don't like Jeopardy. There's a lot of things I don't like. Like
it came out when we were 12. Don't act like you had the remote back then.
I didn't give a shit. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I didn't care about. Like I said, like Jeopardy or like Survivor, whatever. That's I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, you didn't have a remote back then. Someone was controlling the TV. It had to flash on once or twice, I figured.
I guess.
It's not really, yeah. But anyway, so each round, questions go around, and what happens? Oh, this is what happens. If you choose to guess the question, it's a building thing. So if one person answers a question right, it's $10,000 in the pool, and then it goes to the next person, and that person can choose to answer the question based on the question, or choose to pass. Now, if they choose to answer and they miss it, the prize pool is for everybody. So you're fucking it for everybody. So if you choose to answer and you don't know it, you're not only being